Hello, my name's Kyle Glass, and I'm here with Trout Trap Flies, and I've got a fly tying tutorial video of the white gold eyelash minnow. This is a fly I've been using for a while now. It's very effective. This video also applies to the black and purple eyelash minnow. It's just a variation of colors. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to tell everyone that I have fly tying kits available for this fly at substantially cheaper than you would be able to tie them, because a lot of the materials are difficult to find in small quantities. So feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram or on Facebook, or shoot me an email if you would like some of these. Alright, so to start, I've put my Daiichi 2451 size 4 in the vise, coat the shank with super glue, wrap back to the bend of the hook, and I'm going to put my tail on. On this short shank hook, I like to go somewhere between 1.5 and 2 times the length of the shank, so that you have a nice wiggly tail with lots of movement. Okay, trim off that marabou. Next, I'm going to tie in my eyelash yarn, which is the primary body material on this fly. So there are 2 strands that go on each of these flies. This one has a silver holographic strand and a gold strand. Now you'll notice I don't tie it all the way back to the bend of the hook. I leave a little bit of space there. The reason for that is because if you wrap it all the way to the back, it messes up the taper of the fly. Okay, I've wrapped to the front of the hook. I'm going to tie it off. Trim that loose end. Make a couple wraps. And throw a couple of whip finishes on. Alright, now I'm going to grab my Senyo articulation wire, go through the eye of the hook, match the tips like so. I have 2 4mm white pearl beads here that I'm going to slide onto both strands and then pull them down to where they're close to the eye there. Now I'm going to take this out of the vise and set it aside. Next, I will mount my size 2 2451 hook, coat the shank in super glue, establish a nice thread base here. It's important to establish a good base that will bind to my articulation wire. Using super glue is very important if you don't want your articulation joints to slip. Okay. I'll pull this forward just a little more. Now I'm going to tightly wrap almost to the eye with both of these strands. Now notice it's binding to the super glue as I do. So I've got a little bit of space there between the eye. I'm going to wrap back, very tightly fold that. See how I tightly fold it? Okay, now you're going to wrap back one just a little ways. Do the same thing with the other one. That's the strongest way to form that connection. Alright, now you've got them straddling each side of where they were before. Wrap all the way back, and these tags, you just leave them because they'll just help the fly keep from tangling. Now I'm going to attach my eyelash yarn, both pieces. Okay, now this is the only part of this fly that's really complex at all. I'm going to furl these 2 pieces together. So I'm just going to grab them, grab about a 4-inch piece, and start twisting. What this accomplishes is it allows them to form one yarn, and then what I'm going to do in just a second, we'll double it over and bring them together. So I'm going to grab it, pinch this I want it to come back a little bit beyond the eye of the second hook. So I'm going to pinch it right here, then fold it over forward on itself. I'm going to pinch it with my front hand, and then as I let go, it forms a rope and twists together. Okay, now while still pinching all that stuff, make a wrap. I'm going to grab all of this, wrap back to the bend of the hook. What that does is it allows there to be a consistent body throughout the whole fly, so you don't have a big gap where the articulation joint is. Alright, so I've attached super glue to the front of my hook there. I like to put the eyes on the top of the shank opposite the point, which causes the fly to ride points up and decreases the amount of snags you're going to get with it. So I'm just making X wraps and crossing, and then making some cinch wraps to tighten down on that guy. Alright, now I'm just going to wrap this to the eye. Okay, now I'm going to tie it off. Pull all these loose fibers back. Make some X wraps to get this nice and secure. Now I'm ready to do the final step of this fly, which is to create the head with dubbing. This is laser dub, and you can also use the Fly Fish Food Bruiser blend. They both work. Alright, so I made some X wraps on top of the eye to pull those fibers back behind it. Now I flip the fly over and do the same thing. A loose wrap and tight, tight. Couple extras there, and then I'm going to pull all this back and form a ball with the thread in front of my dubbing. Okay, see that? What that does is that keeps all of those dubbing fibers facing backward the way you want them. Couple of whip finishes. This fly is complete, ready to fish. Notice how the tail